Esse meu sufoco, escondida lá no mato, com fome quebrando o coco, escondida lá na mata, com fome quebrando o coco.
Escondida lá no mato, com fome quebrando o coco. Dentro do Babassu eu vou perdendo a minha infância, o machado é meu brinquedo, cortando minha esperança, derrubando os meus sonhos de um dia ser feliz. Quem não seja quebra-coco, presta conta ao patrão.
Ninguém escuta meu grito, desconhece o meu sufoco, escondida lá no mar.
Aveda has been working in northeastern Brazil since 1993 with a group of women who actually go out into the rainforest and harvest the Babassu nuts. In the 1970s and the 1980s, tens of thousands of families were forced off their land by cattle grazers and ranchers, by loggers and other people who really wanted access to the resources of the land. And these women were protesting and standing their ground because they didn't want to lose their only viable income source, which had been the Babassu nuts. So
we only keep half of the nuts that we broke, and we had to give the shells to the owner.
So the small farmers had to leave for the cities because we couldn't make a living from the land, because they had taken over everything. This is why a great struggle began.
So they went out and stood in front of the guns and in front of the ranchers and cattlemen and said, we won't go. I mean, we will not go. And they sent all of their husbands and older sons up into the mountainous regions and the outskirts of the area because they knew they'd be killed if they were found anywhere in the villages.
They persecuted the men more because they said they were the ones who wanted to fight for the land.
We knew that the police wouldn't do harm to the women.
And if we left, they would even burn down our houses.
We agreed that there would be no violence among us. If the police came, we would hide in the forest and let the women talk with them.
We should all stand together, even if that meant we would all die together.
Songs, they kept their communities together and alive until finally the government passed laws to allow them to go on the land and collect the nuts that were their very livelihood, their source of income, and their source of culture and community. So once that happened, they were able to, bring the men back into the communities. They formed collectives to work on building new economic models for their communities so that they could bring education and healthcare and all the services that we take for granted in our communities. They had to build from scratch themselves.
Nut breaking is the local art. Why they call me a nut breaker? Because I've been breaking nuts since I was born. A real nut breaker breaks about 15 kilos a day. I've only managed to break about 10, so I say I break nuts, but a real nut breaker is the one that breaks a whole lot of nuts every day.
We've really been able to help them create and grow businesses in their own communities so that they can stay in rural areas, keep their families in rural areas, and keep their culture and traditions alive. The trade that they do with Aveda and other companies is really about ethical sourcing and sourcing in a way that protects the environment where the material is sourced from. It builds all sorts of economic opportunity within the communities. And it also provides a fantastic ingredient for companies like Aveda who want to grow and expand their businesses. And it delivers then an ultimately wonderful product to our customers and guests.
So of course we're helping the Babassu community by buying their products. It's just good, sound, healthy, ethical business. We went one step further though. We did with Professor Matos, a good friend to Aveda, we organized a living pharmacy in the Babassu community. A living pharmacy is a garden with native medicinal plants that grow in their community, in their ecosystem around them. So we did that, and this is wonderful because this community doesn't have to spend fortunes on expensive Western industrial medicine.
It's been a real growing relationship for both them and for Aveda in how we share culture, share technical expertise, and also share a certain global perspective on how our lives touch each other in the communities that we come from. They were so warm and embracing to us as visitors, and we just had, we shared, we stayed up all night, sharing stories and just being together. And in the morning before we left, the daughter of the woman that we stayed with, she gave this to me, and she'd gotten it from a friend. It was the only thing she actually owned in life, other than the clothes on her back. So it was really special. And it's that kind of community and that kind of sharing that these kinds of projects that we bring to life really touch the hearts of everyone. So when you buy an Aveda product that has Babassu in it, you know that you're touching the hearts and lives of thousands of people, and it's really special.